Good morning, guys. It is Thursday, September 2nd, 2021, and we're going to get started with our pre-market analysis on the S&P 500 futures market. Real quickly here, I just want to point out that we did put out a multi-time frame alert last night around 7 p.m. Pacific, so right around this point here. And what I saw was we had basically a multiple time frame divergence, bullish divergence off this overnight low at 45.16. And I saw that on essentially from the 4 hour all the way down to the tick chart. And so from there, had you have taken the trade that we gave the call for last night, maybe you got in around 19. We're now up almost 20 points if you got in around 45.19 and had never came back to break the low that we called it from at 45.16. So pretty sweet opportunity there last night. Also, we will have our Thursday study session today at 9 a.m. Pacific. So hopefully I will see all of you there just an hour after we finish our morning trading session. So let's go ahead and take a look at the charts here. We're going to jump up to the ultra high time frames and take a look-see here. This 3-month literally just opened yesterday, so we really can't say anything about the current candle for a while. It's probably going to be another month or two before we really start to look at what these signals are telling us off the new candle. Off the previous candle that closed 2 days ago, everything looks very strong with no signs of exhaustion up here. Pretty much the same case here on the monthly, very strong, no signs of exhaustion, and the new candle has, about 30 days or whatever it is, 20 days of actual trading to develop and actually close. So can't say too much about that candle right now. And our weekly looking very strong as well with no signs of exhaustion. So all three ultra high time frames giving us the same picture that they've essentially given us for quite a while now. Very strong, no signs of exhaustion. When we get up to our daily, similar situation. Everything's looking pretty strong here. We don't have any signs of bearish divergence off the current all-time high, which was made back on August 31st. And you can see that we did kind of peter out there for 2 days now, which is not too surprising. A lot of times you will see these pushes of 2 or 3 bullish candles and then a little, some red candles and then a continuation. So right now, looking pretty strong here on the daily, no signs of exhaustion. When we get to our 4 hour, here's that bullish divergence that I saw last night when I got to the computer here, right off that 45.16. So we got a nice 4 hour bullish divergence off the overnight low, and we have no signs of exhaustion or of bearishness off the current high that we're pushing to in the pre-market session here. So all we have right now is pretty much 2 decent bullish divergences off the pullbacks with no signs of exhaustion off the highs. On our 60-minute, same situation. We have the bullish divergence from that overnight low at 45.16. This is, let me just bring it up. Here's the call that we made. Decent multi-time frame bullish signal off overnight low 45.16. Current market price was 45.19 when I actually posted this and gave you the time frames I saw and then some potential levels that could hold if it was to have broken there below 16. So there, 60-minute confirming that right there. And right now, I would argue we really don't have any signs of exhaustion up here. You can see that the divergence analyst is actually identifying some divergence off the current high. I'm not too wild about what it's identifying here. Maybe if you compare it to that previous swing high, you could argue that we did come down, or actually no. Let me look at the high here really quickly, 35 and 35.50. So no, yeah, we don't have a divergence off that high either. So just disregard this potential bearish signal that you're getting from the divergence analyst. Everything looks pretty strong here. I'd argue no signs of exhaustion either. So pretty much every time frame right now is pointing north. It's pointing to more of a bullish bias coming into the open. We're going to jump down now to the intermediate time frames and take a look here just to see if we get confirmation of what we're seeing on the higher time frames. And you can see that we have that bullish divergence from the overnight low at 45.16. And we are admittedly getting some bearish signals as we get down into the intermediate time frames. So what that tells me is we do have the potential for a little bit of a pullback here, but we're still looking for longs off of bounces. So if it does pull back maybe to this previous resistance around 26, which does happen to be a decent retracement level there, you can see 25.75 is 50% of this current leg. Maybe that will be an opportunity there. We also do have some pretty strong support right around that 21.50 area. So we'll have to watch. But right now, 30-minute is agreeing with all the other bullish signals that we got off the overnight low. And it's giving some signs of exhaustion up top here. But again, that's expected in a strong push for things to get some types of minor corrections for a continuation in the direction of the trend that we expect. So let's look at the 10-minute here just to see if we're getting agreement. And the 10-minute, I'd have to mark this just manually here. We got a really nice bullish divergence, essentially exotic divergence off the low there. So we got the exotic divergence there confirming the overnight low bullish case. Got the strong push, and you can see that the 10-minute did get the bearish signal there, similar to the 30-minute. We got the pullback, and look at where it bounced. Interestingly enough, where did we find resistance in the market here? Back at around, I don't know, 12:30 in the morning, back in the midnight almost, we came up right to our eye level at 27.75. So this eye level, I think I put on maybe a day or two earlier, so back on the 31st of August, and you can see it came right up to it in the overnight session, got a pullback of about 2 or 3 points there, and then continued to chug higher. And then when it pulled back, that's exactly where they bounced from. So you can see there was essentially a test here at 3:20 a.m., another test at 3:50, and then for a while it kind of held and then continued to push higher. And then you can see 29.50 here, 50% of the previous day, ended up holding here once we broke above that and pulled back. So just another testament to how strong the eye levels are that we use in the trade room here. But kind of digressing, we're looking for signals here, and currently we do have another decent bearish indication that the 30-minute was also giving us off the what we can consider our overnight high as of right now. So like I said, getting these exhaustion patterns in this kind of bullish push with so many time frames giving us a bullish divergence off the overnight low is really just telling us the potential for a shallow pullback, and that's exactly what we got here around 1:50 a.m. Pacific here in the overnight session. We got a pullback from 32 down to that, again, that high there at 27 or 28 for about 4 points, and then it continued higher. So right now we have that bearish signal, again, just on the intermediate. We don't see it on the higher time frames, but we do see it down on the 30 and the 10. So we could potentially have a shallow pullback here and then look for longs off some of the relevant levels below us for a continuation higher. And I think that's really all we have for this morning's pre-market. Things do look bullish. We have a heck of a lot more bullish signals off the overnight low than we do have bearish signals off the overnight high. And everything, including all the ultra high time frames, all looking strong. So for now, we're going to be looking for longs off of pullbacks. Keep in mind that a pullback down into 26 here, which happens to be 50% of the previous 4-hour candle that we look at, is right back to that strong resistance we had in the overnight session there. So that could be potentially a support area. Again, we have a number of eye levels here highlighting some other interesting areas that could potentially be support. And then our CP would bring us right back to this overnight resistance level right around 45.22. So on these pullbacks, we do want to look and see if we have a clear signal to go ahead and try try something long to see if we can get a continuation and a push above the overnight or the previous daily high up here at 45.40. So ideally what we'll have here this morning is some type of pullback to get long, and then a push through the previous daily high at 40, and then we have the all-time high up there at 42.25 to get through. If there is some type of sell-off, remember anything's possible here just because we have just a preponderance of signals giving us an indication of a certain direction. That doesn't mean it has to happen, and it's not 100%. So if things do start to sell off, then we're going to have to start to switch our hats, which I say almost every day is what we have to do as traders, is be nimble and be willing to change our bias when the market gives us new information. So if things start to really kind of change here, maybe we start to get a lot of bearish signals as this thing starts selling off here, then we'll have to switch our hats and start looking for maybe shorts to some deeper retracement levels. Keep in mind that we do have this retracement scheme. So we had this push up, and again, ignore all these levels. When we zoom down to a 1 minute, the levels all start to kind of hash out and work nicely. But it looks very messy here on this 10 minute. We had this leg from, I don't know, let's just say the August 19th low all the way up to the high we made on August 25th. And then we got this little shallow pullback and then a nice bounce to create the new leg that we have. If we look at that bounce and this new leg from the August 26th low going into August 27th there, all the way up to the all-time high, we have some pretty decent retracement levels that are lining up not only with the eye levels that we had marked previous before we ever had any type of retracement scheme going on, but it also lines up with some really nice support and resistance levels in the market. So we do have 38% retracement right back to where we bounced. Again, we talked about this, I believe, a few days ago. We got this push up again to the all-time high, and then when we pulled back, we bounced almost exactly at the 38% retracement and right off of all that previous resistance in the market, if you look back. So assuming that that's been already used, it can be used again, but a deeper pullback, look where it brings us, right to that really strong resistance that we got back here on August 27th. If you zoom in, you can see we came right up into 02, pulled back into 02, pulled back, and then we bounced and held above it. So coming back down here, another good level, and then the 61.8 retracement of the whole leg brings us right back to this 44.92 area. And when we zoom back here and look at the market, you can see a lot of resistance here back on August 26th. Market came right up into this 92 area and then had a violent sell-off from there. And then if we go back, nice support, and then again back on the 24th, really good resistance there, and then we went sideways for quite a while. So we've got some really good levels below us this morning in case the bullish scenario does not play out. And I think that's where we'll leave it for this morning's pre-market. We do have about 10 minutes until the open, so we can go ahead and dial down to our short time frames here and look for some trade opportunities if they do present themselves.